You know, I'm not a hypocrite when it comes to media practice. In fact, I have a difficulty doing peer review. And I know it's a weakness, but I accept that.
But now that is where you sit, because we look up to you, you know, for training and for guidance.
Yes, but I'm very careful how I go about it, because there will be an element of hypocrisy, of double standards. And I know I'm going to restrain myself not to give examples of what Amate Kwame's Ghana Palava did relative to security issues. But I would focus on the main substance here. See, the thing first exploded on social media before the mainstream media.
Right.
I'm not sure what the ethics are relative to social media and how we're going to manage that. That's an area we have to be interrogating. Then when it comes to the traditional media, the mainstream media, which only reported things that had come to their notice, the principle is self-policing. I, as an editor, would exercise my discretion, take a decision as to how to deal with the matter. I'm not about to ask all other editors and media houses to go along with my discretionary powers. What I do, I can't. It's unfortunate. It's a weakness, I've admitted. But I stay out of peer review because I can be cited for having used material, whether obscurity implications, in a way that people thought was wrong over the years. So I find it very difficult to come and sit here and start analyzing others. That's why I said I restrain myself from pointing out.
No, but I ask obviously because you guys,
it's a good question.
For where you have gotten to now, you know, you certainly, with the benefit of hindsight and experience.
It is a good question. You've asked a very good question. I'm unable to give you an answer that will satisfy you because I do not want to be a hypocrite.
Right.
That's what I've said.
Right.
But we'll have to go for our code of ethics and see whether this publication by the mainstream media violated any specific code in the ethics. It will be very difficult to find it. Take it from me. You know that? It will be very difficult. If you brought the GJA code of ethics here and go through it, it will be very difficult. That's why I say it comes to a level of self-policing.
Right.
You deciding to exercise your discretion in a certain manner, and I leave that to myself. Now let's deal with the substance. The primary focus is not the way the media, either social or mainstream, treated this matter. The problem emanated from the Ghana Immigration Service. Look, there was no new alert, terror alert. There has been none. The terror alert that is in place is the one that was issued earlier. Based on shared intelligence with the Ivorians and things and the probing they are doing, our national security gets the information to the effect that one of the suspects has mentioned Ghana and Nigeria, Togo, not Nigeria, Togo, as possible targets. Even the reason given that I thought was a bit funny about because they didn't want to create the impression was francophone countries. I have said here, if you recall, with the Deputy Interior Minister, that our participation in Mali, peace enforcement operations in Mali, could itself be an attraction. Also, the fact that we have Western installations that they perceive as bad also could be an attraction. Okay, I find that more substantive than this thing of not making people think we are targeting only francophone states. But that's intel that the national security had. So all they did was to issue a directive to the heads of the various security agencies that this is the information we have, these are the things you should do. The person who, the GIS person, had no business at all circulating the contents of the intel. That is where the primary matter is. They treated it in an unprofessional manner by disseminating the information to lower levels about this is what to do. All you had to do, as the president indicated, was to say that, look, these are the things we have. You, the heads, it's okay if you, the heads, have it.
Right.
And the information classified in a way that you know the contents don't belong to every Ghanaian. or every officer. So these are the things. Be alert, do these things, do that, don't do this. That's all. But if you put that info, you recopy virtually what the national security had brought to you and then send it downwards, it obviously will leak. So that is where the problem is. The unprofessional treatment of the National Security Directive and not the media treatment of the leak, how something that had been leaked.
Okay.
You see? So that should be made clear.
Right.
Then you come in with this prophetic scaremongering coming from all these pastors and agents of God here and there. Egbert is laughing at me because he's more disciplined when it comes to, the spiritual matters. But let me be very frank with you. In any case, the National Security the Directive is dated April 9th. It preceded or predated the prophetic scaremongering that was issued on the 10th of April. But of course, the leakage or the public circulations came after both,
right,
9th and 10th.
But there was an earlier alert.
The earlier alert is the one that we all know of.
Right.
This was not an alert in terms of distinctive meaning.
Right.
Now, because there had been this prophetic scaremongering, somebody, and I don't have the evidence, as Dr. Eni did, and he was careful. He said he's playing the devil's advocate. I was with Alasan Suhini on Metro. He also played that devil's advocate, and that's exactly what Dr. Eni did. It's a possibility. I don't have evidence to push that line, but post the leakage, there were efforts, especially on social media again, to say that this is a vindication of what the prophet had said. That's crude. That's crude. There's no basis for that, because as it's been put, who didn't know before the prophecy? It's a prophetic scaremongering, rather. It's not prophecy. Before that, who didn't know that based on intelligence estimate of how the terrorism scare is going, we could easily be a target too? Who didn't know? Burkina happened, like Côte d'Ivoire happened, it's happened in Mali. So and that's why there was that alert, earlier alert. So already we have been placed there. And look, I've said that if we decide to bring in this scaremongering and the distortions that even came with the SA3 about mercenaries, terrorists, we do that, we disarm ourselves. We don't forge the appropriate level of community security consciousness that could help the security services to deal with these menace. Because we bring in distortions, we pollute the actual concepts, and this whole thing, that is part of it. This prophetic thing was part. I'm talking of the post-leakage, the attempt to link the two and to try and give vindication. I'm sorry if I'm hurting some people's religious sensitivity and sensibilities. I'm very sorry, but this is hardcore analysis we are doing on Newsfile, and the tradition is there. So one has to be clear in my mind what I'm saying. So please, let's look first at the primary source of the unprofessional treatment, which is the GIS. Whoever did it, I'm not asking for any heads to roll.
Right.
No, but I am pointing to that source.